Hey everyone, today we're looking at one of my favorite films, Underworld. Wrong one. We're looking at Clive Barker's Underworld, also known in certain territories as Transmutations. The story revolves around a really angry old investigator who's sent out by some very shady characters to hunt down a high class prostitute who's been kidnapped by some unknown people, who he soon realizes are a bunch of mutated people living in the underworld, aka the sewers, who have been mutated by a mind altering drug created by a really evil scientist. And this is a film that might sound a little familiar, as it's basically one of those stories where the investigator realizes, oh, the monsters are not really the monsters, it's the humans are the monsters. Underworld is not based on any pre existing Clive Barker story, it's an original screenplay written early in his career. Barker had really yet to make a name for himself. And this is one of two adaptations he made prior to his big break in the film industry. And I'm actually going to cover that today. You get a bonus film. Underworld is a cluster of a movie. It has a very soft, focused look to it. It's a complete bore. It's completely bland. And after watching the other feature, which I will show you here today, I really can't put the full blame on Barker as the writer. It does bear some resemblances to Barker's later works of, once again, the idea of the monsters really being slightly more human, as well as a little bit of physical disfigurement. But it lacks any panache, it lacks any substance, it lacks any feel. So it's a completely dreadful picture, but with some hidden potential in it. So why is my favorite one of my favorite pictures? Well, it goes well as a double feature with another collaboration by Clive Barker and the same people, and that's Rawhead Rex. This is actually based on one of Clive Barker's well-known short stories about a demon who is unearthed in London, sorry, not in London, outside of London, and goes on a rampage around a small country town. Rawhead Rex, a short story, is part of the Books of Blood, and it's a very lean, mean, vicious little story. I really enjoyed it. The movie is a perfect how not to shoot a monster film. The monster appears in the first 2-3 minutes of the picture and is, bar none, the worst creature suit in the history of cinema. I will go CGI that looks like an Xbox 360 graphic, first generation, rather than watch a creature suit this bad. But once again, why am I telling you this horrible, horrible film? Well, I did say these were my favorite movies, right? I didn't say that they were necessarily good movies. And Rawhead Rex, I love it because it screws the pooch so badly. The film looks bland. It almost looks like an old BBC television show rather than an actual feature film. There's no scares, there's no suspense, virtually no blood. The creature looks ridiculous. In the story, I really picture Rawhead Rex to be this fairly lean, very feralistic animal-like creature. In this movie, he looks like he's ready to go to a Halloween S&M club party. There's nothing scary about this thing, and the jaws are always open. It's there's no sense to anything about this creature. No sense to anything about this picture. And one of the most shocking parts of the book is excised, not excised entirely, but played entirely off screen. And one of the other shocking scenes is actually played on screen. So there's no consistency in this picture. Rawhead Rex is a dreadful picture, bar none. But I think in today's world, with a strong writer and a capable director, it could be made into a really fun monster film if it's remade today. Which I've always been hoping for this. I've really been hoping that someone would decide to remake Rawhead Rex. So, why do Underworld and Rawhead Rex go together? Well, it's because both films screwed up so badly. Barker not only chose to write, but also direct the next adaptation of his work. And that film, of course, was Hellraiser. Without Underworld and Rawhead Rex really screwing up Clive Barker, we may never have gotten Pinhead in the form we know and love him. So, can I recommend both these movies to you if you've never heard of them? And the short answer is no, I really can't. Unless you're really curious or, like me, is slightly masochistic with your movies, I will have to tell you to skip both pictures. Domestically, I'm not sure if they're even available on DVD. You might look under transmutations for Underworld's alternate title, but I'm using this Underworld title for my video simply because it'll get some views. Rawhead Rex, if you ever plan to shoot your own monster picture, I'd say give it at least one watch and do everything they do not do anything that they do in this movie, because it doesn't work. It's a perfect how-to manual of how not to shoot a movie that relates to monster, and Underworld is a perfect example how to screw up a really interesting yet used concept. So, that's it for me today. What's the film's going to be tomorrow? I don't know. I got over 600 DVDs. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out sometime tonight. All right? Have a good one.